It is the farewell of the Undertaker. We are live, man. Survivor Series 2020 is in the books. Ladies and gentlemen, the show meant absolutely nothing in any sense of the word. But that does not mean it was a bad show. Survivor Series tends to deliver year after year just because you have the best of the best. I don't believe I said that, but it's true. The Undertaker said goodbye to the WWE Universe. Sasha Banks versus Asuka. Two of the top women in WWE went at it. Two pretty decent Survivor Series elimination matches tonight. Tag team wrestling was on display with the New Day and the Street Profits, and my God! Did the Tribal Chief deliver yet again? Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre delivered a WWE Match of the Year candidate tonight at Survivor Series. We're gonna go over it all, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. This is the only Survivor Series review you need, because this is the best of the best in the IWC. This is your Survivor Series post-show right here on Off the Script.
Delete this man.
Alive. People still What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script this evening. It is November 22nd, 2020, and this is your official Survivor Series 2020 post-show on OTS. Thank you guys so very much for being with me all day, man. Full day coverage of WWE. Started today off with an almost 3-hour episode of OTS, man. I don't believe I went that long. I love doing what I do for you guys, and I did not even realize that I was going that long on the live stream today. If you missed OTS Live for episode 352, Survivor Series predictions, Survivor Series preview, your weekly wrap-up of pro wrestling, WWE, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, go check that out. Link is down in the description of this very video. It should be the first thing you see on the channel. And now we are back live, and we got almost 1,500 already. People still filtering on in tonight to talk about the Survivor Series. I have given WWE a very difficult time this Survivor Series build. This year for Survivor Series was not one that was very exciting to me. The build was lackluster. The logistics behind it did not make any sense. The matches were thrown together. Shoddy creative decisions by taking the WWE title off of Drew McIntyre, only to give it to Randy Orton and then put it back on Drew McIntyre. None of these matches had any meaning whatsoever. There was no stakes on the line. There's nothing on the line as far as draft considerations or draft picks or NXT draft picks. There's no Royal Rumble spot on the line for any winning team tonight or any winning individual, the winning brand, which they didn't even make a big deal about tonight. I don't know if you guys are keeping score. Raw won 4-3, which is very shocking to me at the end of it all. But I guess they want everybody to think that Monday Night Raw is still in good spirits, even though it's the worst fucking show on all of television. But at the end of it all, minus all that, minus all the terrible logistics and the terrible creative of it, one of two things. WWE, usually when they disappoint you, when there's no build, when there's no excitement, when there's no anticipation for anything, usually they end up doing pretty decently because they've set the bar so low that they can't get any worse than what we've already seen. Survivor Series could not be bad because of how the build has already been going into the Survivor Series. I mean, if they were any lower than the build, I mean, then we got a fucking problem. But the show almost had to guarantee you to be good. So that's what WWE typically does. The other thing is, with these interpromotional matches, this brand warfare, quote unquote, which is pretty much non-existent and irrelevant. When you do the best of the best, and I know it's a cheesy catch line that WWE's been doing with all these pay-per-views, the greatest wrestling match ever, the horror show, or whatever the fuck else they're naming these shows, right? But Gold Rush for Clash of Champions, this one seems to fit. This one seemed to fit, the best of the best. This is exactly what the Survivor Series is. It is the best of the best. You put the best of the best in the same ring together from Raw and SmackDown, you're going to get a good show. You're going to get a good show. This is exactly what's happened tonight, as Survivor Series did deliver. Some of you might not be happy with that because you're probably sitting here anticipating me to shit on the show. I will not be doing that tonight. I will be shitting on certain segments of the show tonight because they were fucking terrible. But for the most part, this was a very enjoyable pay-per-view. I don't think, even though the concept is dead, even though the concept is a little dried up, even though WWE needs massive reconstruction for what they're doing here with the Survivor Series, it never shows itself to be a bad pay-per-view. It always delivers at the end of the show. Last year delivered, the year before that delivered, and this year delivered. Now, it wasn't a perfect show by any means. It wasn't a perfect show at all. The Battle Royal was completely useless on the pre-show. The men's match, I didn't really like Monday Night Raw sweeping SmackDown 5-0. I did not like that at all. The women's match, elimination match, that was fucking great up until the ending. I don't know who the fucking creative decided on that ending, but my God, that was a sheer embarrassment of epic proportions, and they fucked up royally. Every time we talk about WWE not building new stars, I want you to look back at that women's elimination Survivor Series match, and I want you to think how Bianca Belair's star was shining so bright, and WWE had it fade out and just kill it in an instance. Like that. Done. WWE had no hesitation at all. They could have done great, and they opted to go with the worst ending of all possible. Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley was an afterthought. Nobody gives a shit about the United States title. Nobody gives a shit about the Intercontinental Championship, which pains my insides to say. Sami Zayn's been some of the best television on WWE in recent months. He plays his role great. The IC title deserves better. Sami Zayn deserves better, but the match itself was a fucking afterthought. Nobody gave a shit because WWE doesn't give a shit about Sami Zayn. Sasha Banks and Asuka had the match of the night before Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre took over. And that was a great match. Nothing that broke down barriers, nothing that broke down walls, nothing that we haven't seen before between Sasha Banks and Asuka. It's just two of the very best that went in there and showed you why they are two of the best women wrestlers in the entire world. And the closing sequence to that match, the last 2 or 3 minutes or so, were absolutely brilliant, executed perfectly by Sasha and Asuka. Then we got Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. We'll go over it again tonight. But I want to say that even though I hated the decision to put the WWE title back on Drew McIntyre, and I hated this decision for WWE to go with this match in a last-minute situation. These two guys absolutely killed themselves tonight, worthy of a WrestleMania main event. Now, you might not agree with that. The match itself wasn't the best match I've ever seen. In fact, the first 12 minutes or so were completely boring. But at the end of it all, I had to give these guys credit because they absolutely murdered each other out there tonight. There was nothing on the line. There was no considerations on the line. It meant nothing to the Monday Night Raw SmackDown theme at all. It's just two guys who are the two top champions in WWE going after the one thing that both want. It's not to grab each other's championship, because something like that can't happen on a show like this, even though I do wish that this build was a little bit more involved and there was some importance to this with whatever happened between Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns. Maybe a title being on the line, maybe a proper story being built up for these two guys to go in there and then have this type of match that they had tonight. But these are two guys that are full of pride, and these are two guys vying for something important, even though it might have felt like nothing important was on the line. And I got to give Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre credit. It is unbelievable what they did tonight in that ring. And I can appreciate what they created at Survivor Series. Now, I said Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship didn't make any sense. I never thought that it was something creatively that should have happened. I hate when WWE tries to make right of a situation knowing that it was wrong all along. I hate when WWE tries to switch things up because they want to get frisky and they want to generate interest for a show that really has no importance, or generate interest for a Monday Night Raw because of shit ratings. But Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship back pretty much ensured that we were definitely going to get the better of the two matches. If it was Randy Orton tonight, I don't think Randy Orton would have been able to deliver a match like Drew McIntyre delivered against Roman Reigns. And I don't know who agrees with me on that. I don't give a shit if you do or not. All I know is, simple fact of the matter, I know what I watch every single week. I know Drew McIntyre and what he does very well. I know Randy Orton and what he does very well. There's no way on this fucking planet that Randy Orton was going to deliver a match like that with Roman Reigns tonight. So if that is one reason that Vince McMahon went with Drew McIntyre tonight, then I give him all the credit in the world. It still doesn't make sense. But if he's basing it on match quality, you got to give the old man credit. He went with the right decision. But we all know that's not the reason he went with that match tonight. And again, we'll go over it just like everything else tonight on the post show for the Survivor Series, man. Thank you so very much for joining me as always. Again, making me number one in the community. I got my mods doing their thing in the chat. Thank you to Hoop Media. Jesse is in the chat as well. We will talk about The Undertaker. We will talk about why I felt it was a waste of time. We will talk about why I do not think The Undertaker is going away. We will talk about why I think they missed the boat on making it really memorable tonight. We got a lot to talk about, guys, so strap yourselves in. Hopefully you have a cold beverage on reserve. It's going to be a long one. So thank you guys again. Hoop Media, let me know, Hoop Media, are we number one in the IWC? It might be a little early for me to be asking this question, but I feel confident that we are number one at the moment. Hoop Media, my analyst in the chat, let me know before I get into the meat and potatoes of this review. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you to everybody that live tweeted with me tonight during the show on Twitter. Same thing with Instagram, man. So follow me on social media. We will be live once again for Monday Night Raw and the Fallout show from Survivor Series. Hoop Media says, be confident, man. You are number one. Thanks to you guys. Like I said, I will be on social media again tomorrow during Raw, so make sure you are following the official JD account on social media at JD from NY206. If you guys want to support the podcast, there are a variety of ways to do that. Number one, subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications, and it's free. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, man. I expect nothing less than 1,000 likes tonight before we get out of here, man. 1,000 likes before we end the stream tonight is the goal. Can you guys do it, man? I want you to spear, like Roman Reigns would, that like button. So show me. Show me, man. I've been here all day giving you guys content. It's the least you can do. Hit that thumbs up, man. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. That is the official Patreon page. Imminently, we will be switching over and giving you guys a real Patreon page soon. It's going to be awesome. Lots of exciting new perks over there. Lots of exclusive items coming to the Patreon page. You're going to want to be a part of Team JD. Believe me. If you guys want to go and get a t-shirt, man, please go and do so. T-shirts are available on Bonfire. We just put a new one up. It is the official JD from NY 206 CyberPunk 2077 theme shirt. Now available on Bonfire. CyberPunk 2077 was actually the official sponsor of Survivor Series. And we got an official Cyberpunk-themed JD shirt now live on Bonfire. Go and get it. Go and pick it up exclusively on bonfire.com. Link is down in the description of this very video. Go and check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Monday Night Raw, AEW Dynamite, Off the Script today, and SmackDown on Friday. Go and check all that stuff out again. Everything you need is linked down in the description below. And today's podcast is brought to you by my great friends over at Dr. Squatch, drsquatch.com. And you're going to use code SCRIPT at checkout for 20% off, man. I can't even begin to tell you the stereotypes that us wrestling fans get. We're smelly, we stink, we have terrible hygiene. You won't have terrible hygiene, and you won't smell, and you won't be a stereotype if you use Dr. Squatch. That is drsquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. They got cologne, they got soaps, they got deodorant, they got toothpaste, they got it all, so that your woman is going to be very happy with you in the end, man. That is linked. And I pinned the comment in the stream right now. All you got to do is go to drsquatch.com and you guys can order whatever you want. Use my code SCRIPT and you got a plethora of great items to choose from. So I want to thank them for supporting Off the Script tonight. Let's start at the top, man. Let's start at the top. We got the dual branded battle royal on the pre-show. Miz, John Morrison, Humberto. This gives me a segue to take a sip of my cold beverage. Carrillo, Humberto showed face at the Survivor Series tonight. Was he a survivor? No. He's only a survivor in catering on Tuesdays. It's his favorite day of the week, Tuesday. You know why. Angel Garza, Shelton Benjamin, Elias, Jeff Hardy, Rick O'Shea, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, Buddy Murphy, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Chad Gable, Apollo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Kalisto. Cesaro was not there. I do not know why. Cesaro was not in this battle royal. I do not know why with his partner in the match. I do not know why. Do not ask me where Cesaro is. Maybe he's hurt. I don't know. Maybe he didn't give a shit about the Survivor Series and opted to take the day off. I don't know. So, I'm watching this battle royal, and I'm watching, and I genuinely don't give a shit about this battle royal. I don't even know why this match is taking place, to be quite honest with you. I'm looking at the participants in this match. Miz and Morrison are jobbers. Morrison should not be a jobber, but he is a jobber. Humberto is a fucking loser. Angel Garza should be much better off than what he's doing right now. Shelton Benjamin is in the Hurt Business. Don't know why he's there. They actually have some priority on Monday Night Raw, but Shelton Benjamin is representing his group by being in this loser battle royal. I do not appreciate that. Elias is a loser, and his guitar is out of tune. Most times. Somebody go and tune Elias's guitar, please. The guy is supposed to be a rock star, man. Doesn't he have roadies? That's the roadie's job. Ricochet, he's a loser. Jeff Hardy, he's a loser. Dolph Ziggler, my God, man. Can you get any more loser than Dolph Ziggler? I don't think so. Humberto's pretty close, but Dolph Ziggler remains number one. Robert Roode, Buddy Murphy just got a win over Seth Rollins. I don't even know why the fuck he's in there. I don't know why Rey Mysterio is in there. I don't know why Dominic Mysterio is in there. Chad Gable, Apollo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Kalisto. This is a loser battle royal, folks. This is WWE's way of, let's get everybody on the show. Everybody's got to get a payday. And let's put this battle royal together and have it mean absolutely nothing in the end. So most of the wrestlers started already in the ring. Murphy, Dominic, Rey Mysterio entered together to raise music. Buddy Murphy now is apparently a part of the Mysterio family, now that he's coming out to Rey Mysterio's theme music. Booyaka, booyaka, 619. Booyaka, booyaka, Rey Mysterio, says Buddy Murphy. Awesome. It's probably better than the fucking generic theme music that Def Rebel has given Buddy Murphy. But The Miz then entered with John Morrison. We're going to go over the eliminations here, and then we're going to get to the final four because that's all that really matters here, folks. John Morrison was eliminated in 30 seconds. So when you think John Morrison should be better off doing something else, when I say John Morrison should be doing something other than being the Miz's comedy act, how many of you think I'm right? John Morrison was eliminated in 30 fucking seconds by Dominic Mysterio. Why was he even there? Yet everybody wants his wife to come to the WWE. Are you fucking mental? Taya Valkyrie, his wife from Impact, is a free agent in December. I would urge her to stay away from WWE and go where Tony Khan reigns supreme. Because clearly, when you show up here, you'll end up like your husband, being fed to Charlotte Flair. Kalisto was eliminated by Cedric Alexander. Mysterio was eliminated by Dolph Ziggler. I'm sorry, Ray Ray. Thank you for coming. So, Mysterio was eliminated in about 2 minutes. I don't know why he was even in this thing. Humberto Carrillo. He lived up to the letter L tonight as he was eliminated by Angel Garza. And then Garza was eliminated by Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Alexander was then eliminated by Rick O'Shea. Ricochet was then eliminated by Benjamin. Benjamin was eliminated by Cruz. Murphy was eliminated by Rude. So a great follow-up there to Buddy Murphy getting a big win, the biggest win of his life over Seth Rollins, only to be eliminated at the Survivor Series 48 hours later by Bobby Roode. It's a great way to follow up. Bobby Roode was then eliminated by Dominic. Ziggler was eliminated by Dominic. Cruz was eliminated by Nakamura. Nakamura was eliminated by Hardy. And then Elias, of course, was eliminated by Jeff Hardy. Not a fan of his music is Jeff Hardy. So we got a final four of Chad Gable, Matt Hardy. I'm going to say Matt Hardy. Fuck no, Jeff Hardy. What difference does it make? They're both washed up. Chad Gable, Jeff Hardy, The Miz, and Dominic Mysterio. Now, this Battle Royal, like I said, was largely a waste of time up until the Final Four. Battle Royals are fucking terrible in general. But WWE Battle Royals in recent years, folks, have been absolutely a fucking creative mishap. They've been complete and utter trash. And I seen somebody on Brian Alvarez's thread about the Battle Royal, and you got some fucking geek in his thread. Vladimir WWE, I believe his name is. I remembered it vividly because he's a fucking idiot. He was ranting and raving about how the Battle Royal was great, and people were trying to tell him that it wasn't, and people were telling him the same thing I'm going to tell you because I was thinking the same thing when I seen the ending of this fucking match. All these Battle Royals are the same. It's as if they got the same producer booking these matches, and he's so creatively inept, he's so creatively bankrupt, that they can't come up with a different ending to a Battle Royal. So we got Gable, Hardy, Miz, and Dominic, okay? Gable clotheslined Hardy over the top rope, so Gable eliminated Jeff Hardy. That's good for him. Dominic then set up the Miz for a 619, but Miz got up and he delivered a bicycle kick to Dominic and shot Gable. Miz then gestured to the USA t-shirt that he was wearing because you gotta wear the red shirt to signify that you're on Monday Night Raw, right? Because I don't know, the Miz is on Monday Night Raw, right? Like I'm in fucking preschool. You are the color red, Mike Mizanin. And you are the color blue, AJ Styles, or whatever the fuck. Who gives a fuck? You guys know what I mean, right? They gotta wear red and blue. They associate fucking colors with the name of the brand that they're on because Raw's red and SmackDown is blue. So Miz was wearing his Raw shirt with USA on the back. He's like, I'm the face of USA. He delivered the It Kicks, which is fucking garbage. to Dominic. He knocked him to the mat with the final it kick. Dominic then reversed Miz's attempt to throw him over the top rope, then eliminated The Miz with a baseball slide underneath the bottom rope. But the thing is, The Miz was on the apron. He rolled back into the ring. He cleared the bottom rope when he entered the ring. So imagine The Miz on the apron. He went over the top rope. He landed on the apron like a typical battle royal, but he rolled back into the ring. So he cleared the bottom rope back into the ring. So Dominic baseball slid him underneath the rope, and he rolled out of the ring, did The Miz, and Dominic thought he was eliminated. So we got that. Following me? Good. So Gable delivered a series of beautiful suplexes to Dominic. Gable then landed forearm blows to Dominic in the corner. Dominic executed a springboard arm drag to Gable. Then he missed a 619. Dominic reversed out of a German suplex, then finally hit a 619 before tossing Gable over the top rope. He thought he won the match. Miz came out of nowhere because he was sleeping on the outside because Dominic is a dumb babyface. He came in to the ring from behind, throwing Dominic over the top rope, winning a battle royal that does absolutely nothing for anybody that would have won said battle royal. Folks, WWE, Bruce, Vince, whoever the fuck is watching this, producer, geek, and creative, listen to me and listen to me good. What is the fucking sense of doing these battle royals when none of them differentiate themselves from the last one that you did? I don't understand why we go with the same ending every single time. Why is it so difficult to give us a competitive battle royal? Every battle royal ends up the same fucking way with the same goddamn ending. You got a bunch of nobodies in this match. I mean, nothing to anybody. And then you're going to have somebody be eliminated, quote unquote, sleep on the outside for the majority of the ending of the match, only to come in and win the fucking match by doing absolutely nothing. I don't know who finds this to be exciting. Didn't Lana win a battle royal to fight Asuka in the same way merely a month ago? Yet we're doing the same ending with The Miz at Survivor Series. This was trash. You know what I'm disheartened by? The fact that everybody in this match has been disregarded by WWE in every sense of the word. They've been thrown out like yesterday's trash. Everybody in this match is an outcast by WWE. Everybody in this match could have been a major superstar, but WWE has given up on said superstar. This is the reject landfill. This is the wannabe WWE superstar landfill battle royal, which is sad. Every one of these guys should be a major name, and they aren't. What does that say about WWE building new stars, right? They don't, nor do they care. The Miz wins the battle royal, and he wins absolutely nothing. I could show up on The Miz's doorstep and ring his fucking doorbell and present him a $5 fucking gift card to Crate and Barrel, which will get you nothing at Crate and Barrel. Maybe a fucking pack of gum at the register. And that would be more of a prize than anything that he did or won in this match. Trash. And this is the first match he's won since he's won the Money in the Bank briefcase. And he wins nothing. Great on you, Miz. You win absolutely nothing in a skippable battle royal. Moving on. We actually start the pay-per-view. We got the Survivor Series starting off with the men's elimination match. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. This is Sheamus, AJ Styles, Keith Lee. He runs fast. You know who he is. Matt Riddle, Riddler, Riddle, whatever the fuck you want to call him. We call him here on the podcast Matthew Riddle. Okay? Versus Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, because he is expired with the King gimmick, and Otis. Big man Otis. This was the men's elimination Survivor Series match. Folks, Keith Lee got new theme music. We were all waiting for him to debut new theme music because WWE has given him a generic pro wrestler 101 WWE 2K20 Creation Suite theme music. They killed this guy's mystique. They killed this guy's aura on the main roster. And he finally got new theme music. I still don't know why they changed the old theme music because still to this day, we got people using CFO's theme music. Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, the Street Profits, Matt Riddle, right? All these men and women are on the main roster. Ruby Riott. They're all using CFO's theme music. But Keith Lee could not use CFO's theme music. I don't understand this. I really don't. And I'll say it again. I said it once. I'm going to say it again. Keith Lee wrestled Karrion Kross and lost the NXT Championship. He was then called up to the main roster on Monday Night Raw a mere 48 hours later following that NXT takeover, which I believe was takeover 30, right? He had his old theme music, but he shows up on Monday night and doesn't have his old theme music. So why was he using the fucking theme music in NXT if it was such an issue with CFO, a publishing issue or a copyright issue, whatever the fucking case may be? Why was he using it on NXT, but he can't use it on Monday Night Raw? It's not a CFO issue because there are CFO theme songs still filtering around WWE, and I don't see them changing anytime soon. And if WWE does decide to change those themes that are still in effect by CFOs, they would be a bunch of fucking imbeciles. Def Rebel is terrible. Whoever's making the music right now for WWE, it is fucking garbage. You could pay my brother to write theme music for these fucking people, and I guarantee you it'll be 1,000 times better than whatever they got going on right now. Now, I didn't get a good glimpse or a good earful of Keith Lee's theme music, but it sounded like a generic rap hip-hop beat with him singing over it. At least it's better than what he's got or what he was given on Monday Night Raw following his debut. I don't really understand why they needed to change his theme, but now we got a legitimate Keith Lee theme, and I will say this. He looks a smidgen better than what he did 3 months ago, just because of the theme music. These people do not realize how important a theme music is to somebody. If you come out with shit theme music, you're going to have a shit time getting over. That's the way it is. Theme music is one of the most important aspects of creating a superstar on WWE television, and they fucked that up with Keith Lee royally. Absolutely miserable has Keith Lee looked. So tonight, he finally got theme music. All of Team Raw argued that AJ wasn't captain because he wanted to start the match against Jey Uso. AJ and Jey had a nice little exchange. Remember when Jey Uso pinned AJ Styles before they shipped him off to Monday Night Raw? I do. Jey Uso's been on fire on SmackDown. So they had a little nice exchange before taking out to Riddle, Matt Riddle, and Otis, respectively. Kevin Owens mixed it up with Riddle. So did Otis. Seth Rollins came in. This was the shocker of the match. And everybody was joking with me after he was eliminated, okay? And I do believe everybody is correct. I really do. Kevin Owens and Riddle were in the ring. Otis and Riddle had a nice little exchange. Rollins tags in, and he did nothing. He came in, he tagged himself in, he got on his knees, and he offered himself as a sacrifice to Sheamus. Sheamus was confused by this. Sheamus delivered a bro kick that leveled Seth Rollins' head into the bowels of the Thunderdome, and he pinned the Messiah 1, 2, 3. He offered himself as a sacrificial lamb to Sheamus and a bro kick, and Rollins was the first member of Team SmackDown eliminated. Seth Rollins pretty much said, I don't want to be here, and I don't want to be in the ring with Matt Riddle. So here I am, a free elimination, so I don't have to be across from Sky High Matt Riddle. Seth Rollins eliminated himself because he didn't want to be in the same match as Matt Riddle. Am I close? Otherwise, I don't see why this makes any sense. I actually predicted that Rollins put Murphy over on SmackDown and that he would actually get back at the Survivor Series, his win, and lead his team to victory. And that was not the case. Rollins says, you know what? I got a wife at home that's about to give birth. Fuck this shit. And fuck Matt Riddle. Goodbye, Seth Rollins. I'll see you in a month. I'll see you back at the Royal Rumble. Now, with Seth Rollins, was this a write-off? This is what I want to pose to you. Was this a write-off of the Messiah gimmick? This may have been the last time we've seen Seth Rollins as the Messiah. There really is nothing to do here. Everything that they've done with the Messiah gimmick and the run as the Messiah, the SmackDown savior, right? They've run its course. They've run it into the ground. So what are they going to do when Rollins comes back? He's not going to be a heel when he comes back. I don't see how he could. Everybody knows why he's going away. Everybody knows he's going home to tend to his wife, tend to Becky Lynch. They're having a fucking child. You think Rollins is going to be a heel when he comes back knowing where he's going? I don't think so. What I do think is happening is that we see him resurface at the Royal Rumble, and instead of what we hear with the Messiah, I think we hear burn it down at the Royal Rumble, and people go crazy. If there's fans, which I expect there to be at the Royal Rumble. Because Vince wants fans in Tropicana Field. That's what I think is going to happen. Where do you guys think Seth Rollins is going? Do you think he comes back as a heel, as the Messiah, or do you think we see the architect burn it down? Seth Rollins appear at the Royal Rumble. And we will discuss that when it actually gets to a point where we see Seth Rollins back on TV, because I really do feel like they've kind of run its course as a heel run with Rollins, but I feel like they haven't even tapped into what he could really do as a heel at the same time. So it's going to be very interesting to see. So Rollins was the first one eliminated. So Team SmackDown then tried to talk strategy on the outside, and Braun Strowman, woo! He ran fast! He ran fast at Braun Strowman. He ran through everybody as they all huddled on the outside talking strategy after Rollins just sacrificed himself to Sheamus. After everyone got back to basics, Keith Lee and Otis mixed it up quite nicely. They played the big man versus big man part very well, pretty much an even stalemate between the two. They both tried to lift each other. They were unsuccessful. Otis did get one over on Keith Lee a little bit later in the match. Owens and AJ had a nice little exchange. They got quite history with each other. It came down to eventually Owens not getting one over on Styles, and he gave stunners to everyone on Team Raw. Riddle, Lee, and Sheamus all got stunners. And then all of a sudden, Styles, who was still the legal man, came in with a phenomenal forearm and pinned Kevin Owens. And that means SmackDown is down 5-3. So Corbin almost then came in and eliminated Styles with an end of days, but he was saved by his teammates, which I'm glad Styles did not kick out of the end of days, because that pretty much is one of the most protected finishes in all of WWE. Matt Riddle, then eliminated Baron Corbin off the top with a floating bro. So Matt Riddle gets revenge on Baron Corbin for Survivor Series last year, because Corbin eliminated Riddle last year while Riddle was on Team NXT. And Riddle got revenge on Baron Corbin for eliminating him in the Royal Rumble this year in 45 seconds. So good on Matt Riddle for getting one back at Baron Corbin. Floating bro. SmackDown is down 5-2 now. Otis ran wild and handed out suplexes, including a very impressive suplex to Keith Lee. Otis also gave Strowman a power slam of sorts, body slam / power slam, which looked very impressive. Then he gave him a caterpillar elbow drop, but Riddle distracted him while he was going up for the Otis bomb, a.k.a. the Vader bomb. Riddle distracted him mid-Vader bomb, and Strowman took him off the second rope and nailed a running power slam to eliminate Otis. SmackDown now is 5, and actually 1. Raw is 5, and SmackDown, all they have is 1 in Jey Uso. So we are now down 5-1 Team SmackDown here. So Uso was the only man left standing for his team. He handed out super kicks to literally everybody. This was a legitimate super kick party. Then he took Team Raw out with a big dive to the outside. Uso super kick Styles. He went for a dive, but the doorman on the outside, I don't know, how do you pronounce his name? Omos? I don't know what the pronunciation is of his name, but the doorman, AJ Styles' doorman, pulled Styles out of the ring. Uso super kicked Styles off the top rope as he went for a phenomenal forearm. Lee blind tagged in, but Uso didn't see it. Uso went for the Uso splash on AJ Styles, but Lee caught him in midair. I thought he was going to go for the BBC, but then he flipped into the Spirit Bomb and absolutely devastated Jey Uso with a Spirit Bomb. 1, 2, 3, and Team Raw gets the clean sweep over SmackDown, which is very, very surprising because fuck Fox and fuck SmackDown. Now, Keith Lee got the pin. That can only mean good things. Matt Riddle got an elimination. That could mean very good for Matt Riddle as well. Hopefully we start seeing them come up a little bit more on Monday Night Raw. AJ Styles looked good. Sheamus looked good. Otis looked good tonight in this match for a little bit, right? Braun Strowman, I mean, who gives a shit about Braun Strowman? But I'm surprised Team Raw won. And at the same time, I'm not surprised at all. WWE played the storyline of them hating each other and them battling each other for weeks on Monday Night Raw, hating each other as they had to be teammates, but everybody was arguing that AJ's not the captain. Braun was arguing with Sheamus. Keith Lee was arguing with Braun Strowman. Matt Riddle was arguing with Sheamus. You name it, man. It was very indecisive on Team Raw. And then they come together after weeks of being on different pages to be on the same page tonight and then clean sweep SmackDown in the elimination match, which, again, I'm surprised SmackDown got swept, but I'm not surprised that Monday Night Raw won this match based on where they were going with the storyline and what they've given us with the build. So it was entertaining for a little bit, but the Rollins elimination kind of took me by surprise. I thought he was going to have more of a factor in this match, but, you know, when everybody tells me that Seth Rollins eliminated himself in seconds because he didn't want to be in the ring with Matt Riddle, I don't even bat an eyelash at that, man. If someone told me that, I absolutely would agree with them. I really would. So, Team Raw wins 5-0 over SmackDown, and they have a lot to be bragging about tomorrow night on the USA Network. The New Day versus the Street Profits. The New Day came out dressed as characters from Gears of War, the Xbox video game franchise, Gears of War. Apparently, they are in the game. And they had a trailer drop today, which I didn't know about. I believe they will be characters in the game, which has got to be cool. If you're a fan of the New Day and a fan of the Xbox franchise, Gears of War, it's got to be great to play like Big E. I know Batista's in the game, but it's got to be great to play as Big E in the game, man. They look great. They look great. Now, Big E actually introduced the New Day, doing the entire New Day entrance. He actually came out with the New Day dressed in this outfit as well. And then we did not see him for the rest of the match and for the rest of the pay-per-view, which it makes me wonder what they're doing with Big E. Now, he didn't need to be out there, but at the same time, he needed to be out there because, A, he's still part of the New Day. He's still friends with Xavier and Kofi. He was a part of the entire build for this match. And if you're going to do that with them, and you're going to have Big E do the entrance, why did you break them up in the first place? Seriously. Kofi and Xavier don't have Big E doing the entrance anymore, but you have him do the entrance for them at Survivor Series. It makes me wonder why they even broke them up in the first place, because they ain't doing anything with Big E anyway. Big E has lost all momentum right now on SmackDown. They moved him to SmackDown for a singles role, and they haven't done anything with that singles role at all. It's not completely dead yet because we have that event called the Royal Rumble coming up where new superstars can be made for sure in a span of an hour. So I'm hoping that WWE does something with Big E there. But as of right now, they're dropping the ball completely on Big E. The Street Profits, they cut probably the best promo of their lives tonight against the New Day. And they were going on and on and on about how this is important and why this match is important to them. They even paid homage to The Undertaker about why this night is important. They're going to create their own legacy like The Undertaker created his own legacy. It's said that this promo was very good by the Street Profits. It was very intense. It was very direct to the New Day. It's said to know that it came off well and that the match ultimately means nothing in the end. The promo actually made the match seem more important than it really was. But the Street Profits delivered greatly in that pre-match promo back in Gorilla. Now, the Street Profits were in control early until Kingston wiped out Ford with a dive, and the New Day took over from there. Kingston mocked them by drinking out of an empty red Solo cup before kicking it away. Ford gave Kingston a DDT before tagging in Dawkins, who handed out suplexes to both opponents. The Street Profits then double-teamed Xavier, and they went in to attack Ford, doing a sliced bread off of Dawkins' body, which was pretty cool. New Day followed with a midnight hour on Ford for a very close near fall. Kingston gave Ford 3 consecutive boom drops, but Ford followed, and he followed with a dropkick. Dawkins gave Kingston a spine buster, which looked great, and Ford followed with a frog splash, but took way too long to make a cover, and Kingston kicked out of his big frog splash. Kingston gave Ford an SOS, but Dawkins broke up the cover. Woods took out Dawkins with a missile dropkick. Ford then ducked a Trouble in Paradise and hit one of his own. So he actually used Kofi's move against him. Woods gave Ford a gut buster for a near fall. The Street Profits win the match and finished off Kingston with an electric chair diving blockbuster combo for the win. And after the match, the New Day shook hands and hugged with the Street Profits. And this was a very good tag team match between two very good tag teams in WWE. Now, this match did not break any boundaries at all. This was not a blowaway tag team match. This is not going to really give you an impression that WWE is going to turn that page and start delivering tag team wrestling. This was a good match for what it was, with a right outcome. The New Day did not need to win this match. The Street Profits needed this match more than the New Day did, okay? But my question to you is, we could see something like this on weekly television every single Monday and every single Friday. The match that we seen tonight between the Street Profits and the New Day, we could see that every single week. Clearly, WWE knows how to deliver tag team wrestling. Clearly, WWE likes to deliver tag team wrestling as long as it's teams that they actually like. They're very high on the Street Profits, and the New Day are one of their favorite acts in WWE. My question is, why do we see glimpses of great tag team wrestling with great tag teams, but why does WWE only allow certain teams to do what the Street Profits and the New Day did at Survivor Series tonight? Why can't we see that up and down the tag team division? Now, where do we go from here? The New Day have the Hurt Business. Great. The Hurt Business lost on Monday Night Raw. You're going to have to do a lot to make me believe in the Hurt Business getting a tag team title opportunity again after they lost clean on Monday Night Raw. My question to you is, where do the Street Profits go? Who exactly is on SmackDown for the Street Profits to actually defend the tag team titles against? There is nobody. I always mention this every single time. Why have we not merged the tag team divisions? Tag team wrestling is a competition. It is who is the best. You got 2 guys on one side, 2 guys on the other. You're going to need a lot more than just the New Day and the Street Profits to get across them being tag team champions. Why are they tag team champions? How good of a tag team champion are they? You really can't gauge how good these teams are and how good their tag team title reign is on both sides if there is nothing being put into the overall health of the tag team division. So where do these teams go? No question, on Monday Night Raw, we're going to be seeing mix match go back and forth between the Street Profit, the New Day and the Hurt Business. We're going to see Xavier and Kofi versus Benjamin and Cedric. Then you're going to get Bobby Lashley and MVP involved. You're going to see singles matches. You're going to see Xavier versus Shelton. You're going to see Xavier versus Cedric. Kofi versus Cedric. Kofi versus Shelton. We may even see Kofi versus Bobby Lashley. That's all WWE has the mentality to give you. That's the limit of their creativity. But after that, I'll be asking the same thing. How long is that feud going to go on? For how long can it go on before we get bored? And after that, if the New Day retain the titles or the Hurt Business win the tag team titles, what happens after that? The only answer here is to merge the divisions, and WWE have done everything that they shouldn't be doing with the tag team titles. This could have been a unification tag team title match tonight. This is the shit I think about. Great match, but where do these teams go from here? Why can't we see this every single pay-per-view? Why does WWE only push tag teams that they want to push and give us tag team matches from the teams that they like? Why can't all the tag teams deliver on this type of level? They have the talent to do so. Street Profits win. That was the right outcome, no question. New Day will not be harmed by losing this match. The Profits needed this more than the New Day did. Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley. This was the worst match of the evening. And I knew it was going to be, just based on the build going into this. There was absolutely no build. Bobby Lashley made a passing reference to Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn made a passing reference to the Hurt Business. And that was it. And based off their history, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, what was it, 2018, 2 years ago, we had Bobby Lashley's sister's debut on Monday Night Raw, introduced by Sami Zayn. If that is any indication about this feud and this match, save it. Nobody's interested. Bobby Lashley has looked the best since his return to the WWE right now, being managed by MVP, being in the Hurt Business. He looks great. He feels great. He's just overall a perfect presentation right now in the Hurt Business. Sami Zayn on the opposite side on SmackDown, he's been a legit heel, playing a legit heel role. He's playing a heel that everybody hates legitimately. He's doing his job perfectly. You pay to see somebody like Sami Zayn get what he deserves. Now, I had nothing of any interest about this match. I knew exactly what this match was going to be. I felt it was going to be a squash. That's pretty much what it ended up being. And the commentary team started this thing off calling Sami Zayn a conspiracy theorist, because he's always talking about how he's being screwed and how upper management is looking down on him and they're always throwing obstacles in his way and how he's treated unfairly. So Michael Cole called him a conspiracy theorist. Bobby Lashley was escorted by the Hurt Business and they all remained at ringside, which, of course, Sami Zayn was arguing, why are they out there with the referee? The Hurt Business played games with Sami Zayn outside the ring. They were stalking him but never touched him. So Lashley tried to take advantage with the outside distraction. Sami went into the ring to run away from them, and he wanted to get one over on Lashley, and the Hurt Business obviously took advantage of Sami Zayn because Bobby Lashley just completely overpowered Sami. Zayn tried to tempt the Hurt Business to attack him during the match. At one point, he shoved Cedric Alexander so Lashley would get disqualified if Cedric actually punched him. Shelton Benjamin was like, no, don't fall for this geeks games. So he tried a few other tricks besides that. He tried tripping over MVP's foot to make believe to the referee that MVP put his hands on Sami Zayn because he was looking for a disqualification at this point. The referee wasn't buying it. And then MVP actually did put his hands on Sami Zayn, but the referee's back was turned. MVP clocked him and put him in a position where he rolled him into the ring. So MVP did legitimately put his hands on Sami Zayn, but it feels like everybody is just against Sami Zayn. He got one near fall on a schoolboy before tapping out quickly to Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Lock. And that legitimately was it, folks. 5 minutes. 90% of the match was dominated by Bobby Lashley. This was all comedy, and WWE should be ashamed of themselves. They really should. The Intercontinental title is such a garbage fucking title on WWE television. It pains me to say that. It really does. The WWE doesn't know how to book the Intercontinental Championship, and they have a solid mid-card on SmackDown to actually make it important. You put it on AJ Styles by a way of a tournament, and you had a great match, a match that is just the personification, the definition of what the Intercontinental title should be between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, which is probably going to end up being the match of the year for WWE on SmackDown. 30 minutes, classic. They made that title on that night feel important. That tournament made the Intercontinental Championship a focus. Ever since then, the Intercontinental title went from Styles to Hardy, Hardy to Zayn in a great triple threat ladder match. One of the best ladder matches that WWE has put on in recent memory, in years. What happened to that? Why did we fall so far from the tree? Or I should say, in this case, why did we fall so far from the ladder? For Sami Zayn to be doing this and acting like this, treating the Intercontinental Championship and its champion like this, I get it. Nobody believed Sami Zayn was going to get one over on Bobby Lashley. But my God, can the Intercontinental title look any worse than it did tonight? They should be fucking ashamed of themselves. If this is the way you're going to book the Intercontinental Champion, get it off Sami Zayn and put it on somebody that you actually do like. Because the company doesn't give a single shit about Sami Zayn, which is fucking terrible. The guy deserves better, and so does the IC title. Backstage, Jey Uso. Jey Uso was with Jimmy Uso. He told Jimmy and Heyman his teammates weren't listening to him. It was a 5-on-1 advantage. Reigns walked up and said, listen, I'm not here to listen to your excuses. Jimmy told Jey to leave with him. Reigns told Jey to stay. We lost because you can't control your team. You can't control your team because they don't fear you. They don't respect you. They don't respect me. And if they don't respect me, they don't respect our family. If you can't make them respect us, then you don't have a place at the table. Uso then, he looked over at Reigns because he thought Reigns was going to kick him out of the family again. So he kind of jerked his head immediately to look at Roman when he said that. He was very worried. Reigns said to him, you know what? Do me a favor. Just get the hell out of my arena. Now, Roman Reigns owns the arena. He owns the Amway Center. He owns the Thunderdome. I don't have time for losers. Not tonight. Heyman gave him a look that suggested that Jey let them down, and he got himself in trouble with the tribal chief. So there you go. So the tribal chief storyline, people were telling me, oh, they haven't done anything with it. It seems to be over. It's not over yet. Roman Reigns is still the head of the table. He is still the tribal chief. It ain't going anywhere. Jey is going to be built up. Jimmy's going to be built up when he comes back. It's going to be awesome. The bloodline is going to be formed, and it's going to be great. Where Roman Reigns goes after tonight, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea whatsoever. Sasha Banks versus Asuka. This was Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. These two women know each other very well. So well that Asuka is 4-0 against Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks does not have a single victory over Asuka at all on the main roster. And before we talk about that, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I want to check in on the chat here. Super chats are open. Super chats are open, man. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. Guys, how many of you, I need all of your participation for this, man. How many of you hate the people who stereotype wrestling fans, man? I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a damn good fucking cool wrestling fan. I may be on edge a little bit. I may complain a little bit too much, but I mean well. I mean well. I take care of myself. I'm always clean shaven sometimes. Depends on the time of the year. When it's cold, I like to let my beard grow out, but I'm always clean shaven. I always smell good. Take a shower every day. How many of you guys hate that stereotype, man, of the pro wrestling fan? Hit one in the chat. They're overweight, they're fat, they're geeky, they got glasses, they sit in front of their computer screen. You've seen the emoji, right? You've seen the online emoji. The disgruntled wrestling fan with the fat fucking slob and the glasses, South Park looking character. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy at all, man. You need to look the part, you need to smell the part, you need to feel the part. So I got Dr. Squatch to partner with the podcast, man. Dr. Squatch is officially the sponsor of Off the Script tonight for Survivor Series, man, and they want to take care of you. Deodorant, they got it. Toothpaste, they got it. Soaps, they got it. Shampoo and conditioner, they got it, man. And it's all organic, and it smells fucking fantastic. I've been using this bar of soap, man. Dr. Squatch Cold Brew. I don't know whether I want to bathe in it or fucking drink it. It smells that good, man. It is fantastic. I got the conditioner. I got the shampoo. I've been using it all week, man. I feel great. I feel great. You guys can feel great, too. DrSquatch.com. And you're going to use code SCRIPT at checkout. 20% off, man. This is the largest discount of any sponsor on Off the Script, on the podcast. They got subscription services, man. You can sign up for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. 20% off anything on the shop. Use script at checkout. I want to thank Dr. Squatch for supporting Off the Script. No, I'm not going to drink my bar of soap, you fucking geeks. I'm just using it as a analogy. It smells legitimately like the fucking coffee I brew in the morning every single week, man. Awesome. Sasha Banks and Asuka. Champion versus champion here. Nothing new was brought to the table here. But this match was a match between two of the very best in not only the WWE, but in women's wrestling in general, in the world. I love Sasha. I love Asuka. I think both women are fantastic. If you ask me to create a all-star division and who I want to be or who I want to be at the top of that division, Sasha Banks and Asuka are definitely going to be at the top of that list. No question. Same thing for you guys, I'm sure. But we've seen this match time and time and time again. Nothing new here was brought to the table. All I know is, and I talked about this on the podcast earlier, Sasha Banks needed to get a victory here over Asuka because, and they set it up quite nicely, Sasha Banks and the curse of Sasha Banks losing that championship after winning it is over. She beat Bayley, it's over. We don't look back anymore. She had to beat Asuka. She hasn't beaten Asuka all year. She hasn't beat Asuka in her entire career. Tonight was the night that needed to happen. Whether it was clean, whether it was an interference by Carmella that backfired, whether it was an interference by Mia Yim, by reckoning of retribution because she's called out Asuka. Sasha Banks had to win it. WWE surprised me and gave Sasha Banks the victory clean over Asuka tonight. Asuka takes control early, but Banks takes her down in the middle of the ring. They go back and forth with several counters, feeling each other out. On this night, Banks then grounded Asuka, back and forth again. Banks goes for an armbar. Asuka resists and retaliates. Banks keeps a head scissors on Asuka, head scissors on the arm, or an arm scissors. Asuka rolls Banks around, but Banks goes into an early Banks statement. She goes to try and win the match early with an early Banks statement. Asuka, she reversed the hold. She reverses the Banks statement for a 2 count in a pinning combination. Banks keeps control with the arm locked. Asuka then goes for the Asuka lock. So both women tried to trade finishes back and forth early on. Sasha evaded the Asuka lock. So then we get to around 8 minutes. The match barely went 15 minutes, so we're about halfway through this thing. And they were on the ring apron. They were battling on the ring apron. Asuka went for an ankle lock on the ring apron. Sasha blocked it, went for a German suplex. Asuka blocked that and charged with a hip attack to knock Sasha down to the floor. So they battle at ringside, and Sasha was trying for a suplex, but Asuka set Sasha up on the ringside barricade. So Sasha was on the ringside barricade, and she leapt off with a attempt at a Meteora. Sasha's Meteora. You guys know it very well. She does it very well. She always executes it perfectly. She leapt off the barricade onto Asuka with a Meteora, but Asuka gave her a counter, and she caught Sasha in the Meteora into a code breaker onto the outside, which looked great. They both then were down. The referee was at a 9 count. They both make it in at the referee's 9 count. So we were back in the ring. They were exchanging holds back and forth again. They counted moves, big leverage pins back and forth. Banks ducked and Asuka charged, rolled her up for a 3 count. This was back and forth. Any type of pinning combination, roll up, small package, pinning combination, they did it here. You got to go back and watch. And if you watched it tonight, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't watch it and you're listening to this review after the fact, or you're listening to this review now and haven't watched the show, whatever the case may be, you got to go and watch the last 2 to 3 minutes of this match, man. Perfectly executed was Sasha and Asuka going back and forth with these pinning combinations. And lo and behold, Sasha didn't get the bank statement on Asuka. Asuka didn't get the Asuka lock on Sasha. Neither one of these women tapped out. It was a pinning combination that got the job done because Sasha proved to get the leg up on Asuka just by being the more wily veteran here. And that's exactly what it came down to. Asuka loses nothing by losing this match. It was a competitive match back and forth. She lost on a roll-up after a roll-up frenzy. And there's nothing about that Asuka should be ashamed of. And if you're a fan of Asuka, I'm not looking at this match as a big deal. This was two of the very best in the company who went out there and tried to have the best match of the night, and that's exactly what they did up until this point. This was, at this point, the best match of the entire evening. This was much better than their match at SummerSlam. This was much better than any of the matches that they had on Monday Night Raw. I thought this was awesome. Physical. The women went out there knowing that there really wasn't anything on the line, but you looked at both of these women and they were working their asses off to give you guys a match that you know they are fully capable of. I love that aspect about Sasha. I love that aspect about Asuka. There was legitimately nothing on the line. I question why this match is even happening again. We've seen it so many times. It's played out, right? But it's Survivor Series. You got to have Raw versus SmackDown, and that's the way it ended up with both of them being champions. There's nothing that we can do about it. But you watch these two women, and nothing was on the line, and they still went out there and made it feel like something legitimately was on the line. In fact, there was supremacy, pride. You know, two women who take their craft incredibly well, and this is their life. This is how important this is to them. They wanted to be the very best for each other, and that's exactly what you got tonight. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Peyton Royce, and Lacey Evans versus Bayley, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Natalya. Now, I was not looking forward to this match at all. I was not. I thought this match was, to me, it was a complete waste of time. I had no interest in this match outside of Bayley and Bianca Belair. I don't care. But at the end of this match, it went almost a half an hour. These women, now I don't like all of them. In fact, I don't like most of them. But the women in this match absolutely killed it. This match was actually better than the men's elimination match, and I don't give a shit who says otherwise. I don't give a shit what you think of what I just said. The women's elimination match was better than the men's elimination match by a country mile. If I was to pick somebody in this match that was on my list for MVPs, obviously we're going to go with a Bianca Belair. She looked great. Bianca Belair looked great. Bayley, not so much. But Bayley looked great for over a year. So Bayley's in a situation now where she is going to remain strong, but she's got to give back because she's been so dominant for over a year. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, they deserve attention. They deserve an opportunity. I love the makeup of both of those women. I think they deserve an opportunity. Natalya, nobody gives a fuck about. I'd rather stare at the goddamn wall than watch Natalya wrestle. Just the way it is, folks. I don't really care about Natalya. She's great at what she does, but she's fucking piss poor boring. It's fact of the matter. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I love Shayna. Nia Jax, not so much. I don't know why they're a tag team. It doesn't make sense. The act is played out. Lana, Peyton Royce, and Lacey Evans. Catering, trash, and more catering. But Peyton Royce tonight. I don't believe I'm going to say this. I'm a little dumbfounded myself. Peyton Royce was actually very good tonight. The situation she had in the ring with Bayley was really good. Now, I'm asking myself while I'm watching this, where is this Peyton Royce? Where has this Peyton Royce been? If she can move like that 75% of the time, I wouldn't say a goddamn fucking word about Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce, obviously she's much better than what Billie Kay is. Billie Kay is just complete garbage. She is an embarrassment to pro wrestling. But Peyton Royce has always had the makeup of being somebody that has potential. She looked great tonight. I'm not saying I'm going to be a fan of Peyton Royce from this moment on, from this point forward. But Peyton Royce, I got to give her credit. She looked really, really good tonight, and she got a victory over Bayley. She pinned Bayley tonight. No matter what situation happened for that to happen, she pinned the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion in history. That, to me, makes me feel like WWE has something planned for her and they might actually do something with her on Raw. That remains to be seen. Lacey Evans, I hate the fucking gimmick. Lacey Luger is what we call her here. She's completely terrible. The gimmick is so fucking outdated. Nobody has any commonality with the gimmick. Seriously, who watches Lacey Evans and thinks, yeah, I could find common ground in this. I think this is great. Nobody thinks that's great. Lacey Evans is nothing but a loser. Lacey Loser. Loser Evans. She had a decent showing tonight as well. Spanish fly off the top on Bianca Belair. She looked decent in the ring tonight. Nothing really great. Not going to put her in the league of Sasha Banks at the end of this pay-per-view, but they had little spurts of decent wrestling tonight. And I honestly think, I'm going to say it again, this match was better than the men's match as far as elimination matches go. Now, the men, I want to make this well known because I know you guys were watching the same show I was, and I keep eyes on everything. The men were wearing the red and blue shirts to signify Raw and SmackDown. The women did not wear red and blue shirts. They had red in their attire, signifying they were Team Raw, and they had blue in their attire, signifying they were Team SmackDown. Why didn't the women wear the shirts, and why did the men have to? Why didn't the men do the same thing that the women did and incorporate red into your ring gear to signify that you're Raw, and blue signifying that you're Team SmackDown? Is it that difficult? I don't want to watch a match where it looks like they're all lining up in the fucking schoolyard, third grade class at a fire drill. I mean, it's ridiculous. It looks like I'm watching children and not pro wrestlers. But the women didn't wear shirts, so I can appreciate that. I wish that they would do that same thing with the men, but it is what it is. So, Belair and Natalya gave Royce a double vertical suplex where they squatted her a few times. Looked really cool. And Baszler tagged in, and the announcers reminded us that she won the main event last year over the legend, Becky Lynch. I didn't know Becky Lynch was a legend or great. What makes Becky Lynch a legend? Or what makes Becky Lynch the great Becky Lynch? She hasn't been on TV since April. And now she's a legend because she's having a child, as if she's the only woman in the fucking world that ever had a child. I guess Becky Lynch is now the second coming of the Virgin Mary. I don't know. So they mentioned Becky Lynch and Bayley and how Shayna Baszler won the main event last year of the Survivor Series, which got Shayna Baszler into a bunch of shit, a bunch of hot water, because Vince blamed the lackluster review and the lackluster reception on that match to Shayna Baszler, because it's Shayna's fault, right? Sure thing, Vince. So Jax tagged in, knocked over several members of the SmackDown team before Lana tagged herself in. Natalya then tagged in, and Lana managed to get the advantage. The history between Lana and Natalya, I'm sure you're fucking thrilled. It's riveting television. The history between Lana and Natalya, TikTok buddies. I can't wait. This is a modern-day showcase like Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, folks. So Natalya and Lana were in the ring. So we got them going at it. And Lana wanted to tag out, but nobody wanted to tag her. Jax finally tagged herself in. They started yelling at Lana, belittling Lana, treating her like a fucking petulant child, Lana. Who, by the way, I don't know if you guys know or care, but she had a WWE documentary on the network, which was terribly fake and terribly forced beyond recognition. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Talking about how people wishing death threats on her and how Miro isn't there anymore. She didn't mention Miro or Rusev by name. How she asked her parents to pray for her. How people always tweeted her saying that she should be fired. How terrible of a pro wrestler she is. And how she doesn't deserve opportunities because she sucks. I seen this 1-minute clip on Twitter today, and I'm like, my God, man, how could anyone just watch this and just feel for this woman? I mean, that's exactly what they want out of you. Don't believe it. Don't fall for it. You would actually have to give a shit about Lana to actually feel anything for Lana. Nobody gives a flying fuck about Lana. Just being honest with you. No matter what WWE does, they could put her through fucking 1,000 tables. I'm not going to feel an ounce of sympathy for Lana. They could be little Lana. She could have lipstick smeared all over her face. She could be the fucking brunt of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax's bullying. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to feel 1 ounce of sympathy for Lana. You ain't getting one over on me, Bruce. You ain't getting one over on me, bro. This is god-awful writing. Just keep that in mind. Keep what I told you in mind, okay? Because I'm not done here. I'm not done ranting about Lana. So Jax tagged herself in. She's yelling at Lana, stay on the ring steps. You will not tag in at all. So she stood there legitimately like a fucking statue, man. She stood there like a statue. Lipstick smeared all over her face, crying like a fucking child. So Belair pressed Royce and dropped her over the turnbuckle, which they called Snake Eyes, which I'm assuming is an homage to The Undertaker. This led to everyone getting involved and trading spots back and forth. Bayley wanted to do a dive onto a pile of superstars on the outside, but Royce caught her with a roundhouse kick, and they were up top. You know, I'm glad. I know you guys were watching this when I was watching it. I am glad that we did not see the stupidity in this segment, in this sequence. Imagine if there was live fans in attendance. They would legitimately have been looking at all of these women. There was 8 women on the outside. We got 5 on one side and 5 on the other. There was 8 women on the outside with Peyton, Royce, and Bayley making up the makeup of the full 10 women that were in this match. They were on the top rope in what looked to be like 7 minutes. They took forever to deliver this superplex. And all the people down below were just waiting for Bayley and Peyton Royce to execute this suplex. My God, man, I wish I could have seen a glimpse, just out of sheer curiosity, to see all the fucking dumb idiots just waiting, standing there, waiting for this move to happen, and not moving out of the way at all. And then when Peyton Royce delivered the suplex, it looked good, but my God, did anybody out of 8 fucking people want to catch Bayley off the top rope? Bayley hit like a thud. She hit like a thud on the concrete. I would be shocked if Bayley isn't hurt. The way she took that superplex off the top rope. That's all I seen. I don't know anything that happened to anybody else. All I know is that Bayley, that's it. Like a thud on the fucking concrete. Awful. And I just praised Peyton Royce. But I don't even blame her for that. You got 8 fucking women out there. You can't catch the woman? Unreal. So Royce gave Bayley a spinning brain buster in the middle of the ring. I don't know what she calls it. Whatever the fuck she calls it, her finishing move. Whatever. This is for the Peyton Royce fans, the super fans, the geeks out there that know every fucking detail about her life and her pro wrestling career. A spinning brain buster, neck breaker, whatever you want to call it. Royce was doing well against Natalya, but Natalya got an assist from somebody. I don't recall who it was. Natalya then tried a surfboard, but I think they kind of messed it up in transition, and she used a sharpshooter instead, and Peyton Royce tapped out, and Natalya eliminated Peyton Royce. Natalya had Baszler in a sharpshooter, but Evans gave her a loser's right for the pinfall. Evans then gave Belair a Spanish fly off the top, but the Riott Squad broke up that cover, thank Christ. Riott Squad then double-teamed Jax, and it looks like they had her beat. But after a codebreaker and a Riott kick, Baszler tagged herself in. Baszler put Riott in the Kirifuda clutch, but Riott rolled into a pin attempt. Riott had her beat, but the referee was distracted on the outside by Nia Jax. But in the pinning combination, Shayna Baszler had the Kirifuda clutch still locked in. So because she had it locked in, when the hold was released, Ruby Riott was passed out. Shayna didn't realize. She's like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. She went over to cover Ruby Riott. 1, 2, 3. And Shayna Baszler pins Ruby Riott to eliminate Ruby. Morgan then eliminated Lacey Evans with a crucifix bomb, which looked really nice. Morgan then went after Nia Jax, but Jax eliminated her after a vicious Samoa drop. Belair was the final member of Team SmackDown against Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Lana. So Belair ran wild on Jax, but Jax gave her a power slam and a leg drop, and Belair kicked out. Belair dropkicked Jax out of the ring, but Baszler tagged herself in. These two have history. If you watch NXT, Belair and Shayna Baszler have history. They know each other very well. Belair went after the NXT Championship, the Women's Championship, while Baszler held that championship for a very long time, twice. So Belair was in there with Baszler, and Belair tried a handspring elbow, but Baszler leapt and caught her in the Kirifuda clutch. This was one of my favorite parts, favorite sequences of the entire night. Her handstand backflip into the Kirifuda clutch with Baszler jumping up and grabbing her like a fucking great white shark jumping out of the ocean, grabbing its food, you know? It looked great, man. It looked really good. Belair fought out of this. She fought to her feet. She dropped down to her knees. She was passing out, and she reached for the bottom rope. And Baszler would not let go of the hold, even though Belair got the rope. She let go of the hold after she was disqualified. She didn't make the referee's 5 count. She was yelling at the referee. She was passed out. Why didn't you just let her lose? She was passed out. So Belair got disqualified. I didn't mind that. It was stupid of her. She has to know what she's doing in that moment. She risked it for her team, but I like it because I would rather she lose that way than Belair pinning her, if that makes any sense to you. So I was okay with that. So Jax then grabbed Belair immediately. She was passed out in the Kirifuda clutch, and Baszler released the hold. Jax went around the ring, grabbed her from underneath the ring, and she wanted to put Belair through the announce table, but Belair pushed her into the steel steps. Belair tossed her over the barricade, but couldn't make it back in the ring, and both of them got counted out. Again, stupid, but Belair didn't lose. Shayna Baszler didn't lose. I don't give a fuck about Nia Jax, but they are tag team champions, so she didn't lose. It kind of protects everybody. But with them being double counted out, the winner of the match and sole survivor was Lana. She got in the ring. She started jumping up and down. She was smiling. I'm the sole survivor. I'm the sole survivor. She was celebrating like she fucking won the goddamn match. She didn't lift a fucking finger. She was in the match for about 1.5 minutes with Natalya, if that, right? Might have been even less than that. She sat around for 24 minutes doing nothing. And Lana is the sole survivor. Now, we all knew Lana was going to be the sole survivor, but there was no way on this fucking planet that WWE was going to make you believe Lana was going to beat Belair in a one-on-one engagement. So I give them a D for effort. I give them a D for effort. The test results yield an F, but I give you a D for effort. I'm not going to give you a C because that's a passing grade. I'm not going to give you a B or an A because, Bruce, you don't deserve that. Who are you, fucking joking me? Bianca Belair had her star made. Bianca Belair did not tap out to the Kirifuda clutch. Shayna Baszler foolishly got herself counted out. All you had to do was build up Bianca Belair in a one-on-one match with Nia Jax in this situation. Have Nia Jax beat her down a little bit. Have Bianca Belair get the fucking KOD on Nia Jax, which I know she's able to do. And then Bianca Belair, beaten, broken, tired, in there against Lana. Lana's fresh, but who the fuck is Lana? Who is Lana? Bianca Belair could have eked out a victory over Shayna, Nia, and Lana and been the sole survivor. WWE opted to go with Lana being the sole survivor, and that light that was Bianca Belair, that shining star, faded out. Bianca Belair's star tonight diminished into nothing. WWE is in the business to create new stars. When they have an opportunity to create new stars, they kill new stars. Triple H creates and Vince kills. Bruce kills. Now you can add Bruce to that equation. I don't know on what planet they think that Lana is going to get over and develop sympathy. You opted to go with building Lana up in a situation that was painted perfectly for you, for Bianca Belair. And that's what you give me. Out of all the endings that were on the fucking bulletin board in that creative meeting for tonight's show, that's the one you went with? That's the one you went with. If I'm in that creative boardroom, I'm like, no, that's not the way. Aren't we in the business to build new superstars? Lana is not a new superstar, and nobody wants to see Lana built up. Why is Bianca Belair even here in this situation if you're not going to go all the way with her? I'm dumbfounded. I am absolutely dumbfounded. Puzzled. Belittled is what WWE did to us as a fan base. They belittled us. We have our hopes in Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair is going to be in the main event picture at WrestleMania against Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. We all know that. But my God, building blocks. You got to do that before you get us to that position. What did they do there? They set Bianca Belair back. Awful. Absolutely. And the pay-per-view up until this point was decent. That was like a fucking Mike Tyson punch to the midsection, man. It took all the wind out of the pay-per-view. Lana does not deserve to be in that situation at all. What an awful creative decision that women's match was. And I still stand by what I said. That women's match was better than the men's. That ending was fucking an embarrassment of epic proportions. Moving on here, man. We got the champion versus champion match between Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. We've seen a video package about Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. We've seen all the highlights leading up to this match. The SmackDown confrontation, the contract signing, what Roman Reigns said on SmackDown. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. It was reported that Drew McIntyre won the title because of a last-minute decision by Vince McMahon. That the main event for WrestleMania still was penciled in as Randy Orton versus Edge for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre won the title because of a last-minute decision by Vince McMahon because he wanted a babyface versus heel dynamic, which I don't really find to be a true statement or a true story. This was reported by Meltzer. If that was the case, he could have changed all the other matches as well. Sasha Banks versus Asuka was babyface versus babyface. I guess that's okay to him. We got the Street Profits versus the New Day. That's babyface versus babyface. I guess that was okay to him. We could have easily changed Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn to give us something a little bit better as far as the US and IC titles. He kept that the same. But he opted to change Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Why did he do that legitimately? I want you guys to really deep dive into that, man. I talked about this on the podcast earlier. Ask yourselves why. Is it because Vince McMahon is a senile old fuck? That would be a good answer. If you told me that, I would not bat an eyelash. If you told me that they wanted to do a babyface versus heel dynamic, all right, I'll take it, but it's not the right answer. It's a good effort, though. I'll give you a C for effort. If you told me that WWE wanted to make the pay-per-view feel a little bit more important, because of their lack of build, I would say, you know what? You're onto something. You're onto something, and keep digging. You might find something a little bit more valuable at the bottom. Keep going. You're on the right track. Now, if you told me that WWE wanted Roman Reigns to be the biggest of priorities at the Survivor Series in this match, in this situation, and the way that they could do that and the way that they could further that is by putting Drew McIntyre in there, you would be correct. You would be correct. You see, it didn't make sense for Randy Orton to win the WWE Championship only to give it back to Drew McIntyre. If that was the case, Drew McIntyre should have never lost the fucking championship if this was the situation that you wanted at Survivor Series. I'll even go back further. This match between McIntyre and Orton should not have been inside Hell in a Cell. It should not have been inside Hell in a Cell because, A, you ruined the cell. You ruined the mystique of the cell, which is fucking terrible as it is. The match didn't need to be there. That match ends feuds, yet you give us another fucking match between these guys, ruining the entire concept and ruining everything you did inside that cell. The build, the feel, the importance, the title, Drew, Randy. You ruined it all. You ruined the momentum that Drew McIntyre had acquired for himself coming out of WrestleMania. A babyface champion losing in a string of months successful defending that title, losing it, and then winning it back 2 weeks later is not what I call momentum. You put a stop to his momentum, and you hit reset. Now he's got to start all over again. I said, what is the difference by taking the title off of Orton and putting it back on Drew when Orton and McIntyre would probably end up in the same situation against Roman Reigns? Nobody was going to beat Roman Reigns, nor should they even think of beating Roman Reigns. In fact, I'd have Roman Reigns not even lose the title at WrestleMania. That's how over he is. That's how big he is. That's how hot he is. That's how heelish he is. He's the biggest heel in the industry right now. Fuck off if you think otherwise. Don't give me some fucking irrelevant fucking bum from New Japan or from some fucking promotion that nobody gives three shits about. Roman Reigns is the biggest heel in the fucking industry. It's not even close. It's not even close. Don't tell me Kenny Omega. Don't tell me this one. Don't tell me that one from AEW. Nobody is on Roman Reigns' level. And this is coming from somebody that shit on the Roman Reigns character for 6 years. My best friend texted me today. He's like, you're a Roman Reigns fucking mark. What the fuck happened to you? Good television. That's what fucking happened to me. Both of those guys would have been in the same situation. Roman Reigns can't lose. But if you dive deeper into the situation, WWE wanted to make Roman Reigns a priority. How can they make him a priority? More so, a priority over Drew McIntyre. WWE was able to get that contract signed. WWE was able to get that promo out of Roman Reigns. WWE was able to get Roman Reigns looking big in this win tonight over Drew McIntyre because he was opposing Drew McIntyre. Would Roman Reigns be the head of the table if he was in a match against Randy Orton? No. Randy Orton's got the leg up on Roman Reigns. Randy Orton has the superiority and the seniority over Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wouldn't look like the head of the table against Randy Orton. He wouldn't. He wouldn't be able to cut that promo against Randy Orton. He wouldn't have been able to say half the shit he said to Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton. Randy Orton, for all intents and purposes, probably would have buried Roman Reigns in that fucking promo. Drew McIntyre, he sat there like a little bitch, and he took it all from Roman Reigns. Why? Because he had to. Vince needed Roman to look good. And that's exactly why they took the title off of Randy Orton and put it back on Drew McIntyre and gave us this match. Now, a lot of people were saying, well, Triple H might have been right. Triple H compared these two to The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Folks, on no planet in this stratosphere or a fucking another lifetime is Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre going to ever be compared to, or their feud ever be compared to, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. There are things in this world that you should not do or say, and that is one of them. Now, I'm not saying that they can't reach that level. They will never, but I'm not going to count these guys out after tonight. But instead of comparing the body of work that is Roman versus Drew and Stone Cold versus The Rock, it's not about comparing who they are as individuals. It's more along the lines, and this is what I think Triple H meant by him comparing those two. In that day and age, when you had The Rock and Stone Cold, they were constantly battling for number one. Whoever was number one was always number two. And whoever was number two was vice versa. They were always at the top of everything that they did, and it wasn't even close. Then you had your Shawn Michaels and your Bret Harts and your fucking Undertakers and your Kanes and your Mick Foleys, right? During that time period. Triple H's. But it's more along the lines of these two guys pretty much solidifying themselves in the annals of WWE current day to be number one or number two. They are going to be the head of the class for years to come. That's what he meant. Not to compare their body of work or their feud to Stone Cold Steve Austin and Dwayne Johnson. That's not what he meant. If you really want to dive, again, deep into that, that's what I think Triple H meant. Because I think he would even be a fool to compare that. This is our modern day Stone Cold and The Rock. So I think that's what he meant by that. Another thing after watching this match, how many of you think that if Randy Orton was in this match, we would have gotten this caliber of match tonight out of Roman Reigns and Randy Orton? I don't think so. Now, I don't think Vince is that keen on making right decisions. I don't think he thought about this as far as the reason why he changed this match from Randy to Drew. But how many of you in the chat right now, and how many of you watching this after it goes and gets published to YouTube, even on iTunes, how many of you guys think that Randy Orton and Roman Reigns would have delivered anywhere close to this type of match? I don't think so. I don't think Randy Orton would have even come close to this at all. In fact, it would have been much boring over a 25-minute stretch. So if you look at it just based on that aspect alone, I'm glad they changed the championship. But even though they had a great match, it still doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't. They delivered a fantastic match. They should be proud. Two prideful guys that went out there and did something that a lot of people really didn't give a shit about going in. They made people care. That's a tough fucking thing to do. Because I was zoned out in the first 12 minutes of this match. And then the halfway point, I'm like, oh my God, this is getting good. And then by the 5-minute stretch, with 5 minutes left, this was fucking unbelievable. This was a Survivor Series match where we usually see Brock Lesnar have the match of the year. We got a great consolation second place with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. If we can't get Lesnar giving us a match of the year, this was easily on par with whatever Lesnar has done in previous years. This was a WrestleMania-worthy main event at Survivor Series. And I honestly think after tonight, if WWE wants to weave this somewhere in WrestleMania season, I could absolutely see after tonight and after the reception that this match gets, I can see WWE possibly, I'm not saying that they will, possibly explore the option of having this match again at WrestleMania. That means Drew would have to win the Royal Rumble. He'd have to lose the WWE Championship and win the Royal Rumble for a second time. And then he would have to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Roman Reigns. You beat me at Survivor Series. Now I'm coming for the head of the table. It could still happen. It could still happen. I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but that is definitely now an even more attractive offer going into WrestleMania season. We could still very well get Randy Orton being another WWE champion. What is he, going to be 15-time world champion? Right, if he wins the title again, wins it, faces Edge, WWE gets the original match, we get Randy versus Edge and Drew versus Roman? Could be. Could be a situation. Then we can kind of flesh out the WrestleMania card. Imagine that. Roman versus Drew for the Universal Championship. We get Randy versus Edge for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee. Lars Sullivan versus Bill Goldberg. Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. We get Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. a unification match between whoever the tag team champions are. I'm going to say it again. Going to keep saying it. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Charlotte versus Asuka. Start fleshing out WrestleMania right now. It is a situation that WWE, I think after tonight, after the reception that this match has gotten, WWE could very well visit this match at WrestleMania. This was incredible. Absolutely a match of the year candidate in WWE when all is said and done at the end of the year. Absolutely. The first 12 minutes were Roman Reigns grounding Drew McIntyre. Had him down on the mat. It was very boring. Reigns took over, 12-minute mark, and Drew made a comeback a couple of minutes later with an overhead toss and a neck breaker, followed by his signature kip-up. Drew waited for Reigns to stand, but Reigns avoided a future shock DDT and hit a Samoan drop seconds later for a near fall. Drew came back with a spine buster for a near fall. Reigns rolled to the floor. Drew went after Reigns at ringside, throwing him into the ring post, and then he whipped him into the ringside steps. Reigns came back with some right hands, and Reigns was talking to Drew. He said, and I quote, "This is why I'm the man around here, and you're number 2. Drew headbutted him with a Glasgow kiss. Reigns fired back with some big boots. Drew gave him a big boot of his own. Reigns avoided a clothesline, then landed a future shock DDT for a very close near fall. So Drew, after the DDT, looked up shocked, and Drew stood up first, waited for Roman Reigns to stand and deliver a Claymore. Reigns countered with a Superman punch. Reigns staggered. Reigns grabbed Drew. Drew countered with an overhead toss. Drew pulled himself to his feet in the corner, charged again. Reigns met him with a boot to the face. And then Reigns then threw Drew McIntyre shoulder first into the ring post. It's been getting physical now, and it continued to get physical, even more physical after this. Drew was down on the opposite side of the ring. He stood up. Reigns went for a spear. Drew rolled out of the way and rolled into a Kimura lock in the middle of the ring. So Drew McIntyre had a Kimura lock on Roman Reigns. This was definitely a Paul Heyman touch to this match, being that that is Brock Lesnar's move. So the commentary team was hinting at Roman Reigns tapping out. How humiliating would it be if Roman Reigns tapped out? Not going to happen. So Reigns did move over to the bottom rope to force a break. Reigns then grabbed his arm, selling the Kimura lock. Drew charged at Reigns on the floor, but Reigns gave him a Samoan drop onto the announce table. It did not break. Reigns then lifted Drew again and delivered another Samoan drop. He's been taking clues and tips from Nia Jax. So the table then collapsed or exploded. I hate these fucking tables the way that they are, because they don't sound good at all when they break. When Drew stood, Reigns speared Drew into the barricade, and Michael Cole says, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Reigns spears McIntyre through a goddamn wall." I didn't know it was a wall, Michael Cole. It's called a fucking barricade on any other given evening. Stop forcing this match into being epic levels. You're trying to make it seem more devastating than it really is. How many times have we seen a fucking spear through a barricade on WWE TV this year? He got speared into a wall! Give me a break. So, Michael Cole said Heyman just walked by them and he looked at the situation with a what the hell is going on type of look. So Reigns went for another spear. Drew kicked him. Drew charged at him, but Reigns speared him. Drew kicked out. Reigns looked up and was upset at the referee. He thought that spear should have been it. Reigns looked over at Joe at commentary. He looked at Joe and says, "I know you've seen this before, Joe." So Reigns went for a spear. WWE seems to tease Samoa Joe going after Roman Reigns. I like to see that. I think that'd be great with Roman Reigns' current situation. But anyway, after him teasing Joe about that, Drew McIntyre caught him with a Claymore. In the process, the ref went down and was knocked to the floor. So Drew crawled over to check on the referee. Jey Uso ran out because he was so upset about him losing his Survivor Series match. He wanted to help Roman win his match because Roman Reigns was about to disown him. So Jey Uso ran to the ring. Drew knocked him off the ring apron. Drew yelled at him to get out. Reigns gave Drew a low blow. Jay then entered and gave Drew a super kick. Reigns gave Drew a Superman punch and then applied a guillotine. Drew resisted, but he passed out and the referee called for the bell. While the referee was down, by the way, I forgot to add, Roman Reigns did the low blow to Drew McIntyre, which then led to the guillotine and him passing out, with Roman Reigns retaining the Tribal Chief undefeated streak here on SmackDown. Michael Cole says, if it wasn't for Jey Uso, who in the hell knows what would have happened? Well, Roman Reigns got the low blow in, so no matter Jey Uso or not, Roman Reigns was going to get the low blow in anyway because the referee was down. He didn't need fucking Jey Uso to come in to deliver a low blow. So Roman Reigns probably would have won anyway. The first half of this match was a little boring, a little iffy, but the last half was fucking fantastic stuff, man. They really made a pessimist out of me here. Or they made an optimist out of me here, I should say. Is that the right way to go about it? I was a pessimist going into this match, and then I kind of became an optimist moving forward, thinking about what these two could possibly do with more on the line, with a championship on the line, at a WrestleMania, in a bigger event spotlight. Outside of a Survivor Series match that had no build, that was not for a title, that meant absolutely nothing, and nothing was on the line. No titles on the line, no draft picks, no brand allegiance, nothing was on the line. This match was great. And this is exactly how it needed to be booked. I said exactly this on the podcast earlier this afternoon. No matter how good the match may end up being, Roman Reigns needs to win. Drew McIntyre is going to lose. But in a loss, Drew McIntyre needs to look like he is a winner. And after tonight, WWE did exactly that. And I honestly want to sit here and tell you that it was all Roman and Drew. But I honestly think, no matter how good both of those guys were tonight, I honestly think with Paul Heyman being involved in all of this, this match was as good as it was tonight because of Paul Heyman's influence. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know that at all. But if I'm a betting man, I would say that Paul Heyman is a definite difference in this match. Absolutely. This was fantastic stuff. And again, if WWE sees the reaction that this match got, I would not be surprised if they revisit it again in a full-fledged story going into WrestleMania. If they can't get The Rock, I said Daniel Bryan. Some people are advocating for Big E. I don't see Roman Reigns losing at WrestleMania at all. But if it's not Daniel Bryan, and it's not Big E, and it's not Dwayne, who else does Roman Reigns have at WrestleMania that's worthy of an opponent? I think we found them. And I think we found a match that could live up to being a WrestleMania main event and making that main event match at WrestleMania that's been fucking garbage for years truly worthwhile. This was awesome. The Undertaker bids final farewell. Final farewell to The Undertaker. Mike Rome stood in the middle of the ring. He says, this is The Undertaker's final farewell. We've seen all these names being introduced. Everybody got an individual entrance. Shane McMahon came out, followed by The Big Show, JBL, Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley, Phineas and Henry Godwin, blast from the past there, Savio Vega, Rikishi, Kevin Nash. I'm here to report that there has been no quads ripped or torn on Kevin Nash's behalf. Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Triple H, and Mayor Kane. Michael Cole noted that the Godwins were friends with Taker behind the scenes, part of the infamous group known as the Bone Street Crew. He said Phineas was also known as Midian in the Ministry of Darkness. And then Michael Cole was speaking out loud about all this, and Corey Graves was telling Michael Cole, will you shut up? I'm reliving my childhood memories right here. As all these wrestlers walked out, we've seen a video package of The Undertaker, very nicely done. You know, this is where WWE excels more than anything else. The video packages, nobody does it better. Afterwards, Vince McMahon came out looking like a fucking zombie. He was standing in the ring, out of breath. He looked like he was very emotional in Vince McMahon's own way. He gave a nice speech about how all things come to an end, but normally when people say that, it's bullshit. Only in Vince McMahon's world. But The Undertaker's legend will live forever, and I do believe it will. The Undertaker's legend will outlive WWE. You know, the WWE could close down today, and The Undertaker's legend will be living forever. You're going to tell your kids about The Undertaker. Their kids are going to tell their kids about The Undertaker. Unbelievable. So, he seemed genuinely emotional. He made a long ring entrance, The Undertaker did, using the Thunderdome and maxing the Thunderdome out to its full capacity. Lights and lightning and fucking smoke and fire. I don't know if you guys were watching the show, man, but my God, man, the white glare throughout this entire show tonight. From the pyro, I thought I was watching this show, man. I thought I was going blind with all the fucking white smoke, man. The discoloration of the show because of the smoke. It didn't even look natural. It looked terrible as far as the TV product goes with all the smoke and the lighting. The lights couldn't even shine through the fucking smoke. There was so much smoke from the pyro. I don't know if I'm the only one that thought that, but please let me know. I thought I was going blind watching this show. So, The Undertaker used the Thunderdome to its fullest. We had a piped-in Undertaker chant, which is fucking cringe as hell. Absolutely cringe as hell. I know that there's nobody there, yet I hear one of the most iconic chants for any superstar known to man. They're chanting his name, and nobody's fucking there. He's looking around. There's nobody there. The Undertaker's out in front of virtual screens because of circumstances beyond anybody's control. So The Undertaker stood in the middle of the ring. He had a microphone in his hand. He looked around. For 30 long years, I've made that slow walk to this ring and have laid people to rest time and time again. And now my time has come. My time has come to let The Undertaker rest in peace. He looked like he was getting emotional. He looked up, and he held his head as fog filled the arena. He dropped the microphone. He looked around. He tipped his cap. He did the signature Undertaker kneeling pose in the middle of the ring, and then we seen a augmented 3D version of Paul Bearer in the ring, holding the urn, and The Undertaker was doing his pose in front of the augmented reality version of Paul Bearer, with Paul Bearer having his signature catchphrase, "Oh, yes!" kind of ring out through the Thunderdome. I gotta admit, man, I wanted to shed a couple of tears because I loved Paul Bearer. I loved Paul Bearer with The Undertaker, and seeing him there kind of brought me back to my childhood. And he's no longer with us, so that had to make The Undertaker feel really great. And more Undertaker chants were going on throughout the Thunderdome. He kneeled under a blue spotlight. We heard The Undertaker's gong go off 10 times. And then he walked to the stage with his theme music playing. He walked up the stage, he pointed to the ceiling, and lightning was going off above him. He walked off the stage into the back, and the show ended. Fade to black. We've seen the trademark Survivor Series WWE logo in the bottom right of the screen, and the show went off the air. Now, given everything that was speculated about this, what we got tonight felt like a fitting tribute to The Undertaker more than an angle, which I expected we were going to get. I was convinced that this was not the final farewell. It may very well still be that case. This might not be the final farewell. All Vince McMahon has to do is call this guy up. Yo, listen, I want you at WrestleMania. I want to put you against The Fiend. You think Undertaker's going to say no? Of course not. Maybe he is really done. Maybe he's not. I don't know. But I will admit, I love The Undertaker. He's my favorite of all time. But I will admit when something is lame. This was lame. This was lame. Knowing the circumstances that we're in, knowing that there's no live fans there, knowing that this is the end for The Undertaker, that he's not going away in front of a live audience, it's lame. Whatever they did here was lame. Everybody got more of a fucking time. Everybody got more time on this show than The Undertaker did. The Undertaker was there. He did his fucking entrance that lasted 9 minutes. He spoke for about 2, and then goodbye. That's the ending to The Undertaker's career? That You're going to take that over the Boneyard match? This was nothing more than WWE trying to sell Survivor Series because they had nothing else to sell the Survivor Series on. And they went out of their way with Undertaker doing PR tours left and right on radio stations and interviews and fucking Snoop Dogg and Cameo. And this is that, $1,000 for a fucking cameo. 30 cameos he sold out on Cameo. $30,000 the company made off The Undertaker's back in one day. And this is the fitting end of The Undertaker. No Sting, no Bray Wyatt, no Randy Orton, no Karrion Kross, nobody to set up an Undertaker angle at WrestleMania. We still may get that. But to watch that go off the way that it did, I gotta tell you, man, it was fucking lame. It was absolutely lame. This was a complete waste of time. I still don't think The Undertaker is done. They always come back for more. The Undertaker will never truly be retired. I just do not see The Undertaker retiring in front of virtual fucking geeks inside the Thunderdome. If he's going to retire and call it a day, it's going to be in front of fans at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. Whether it happens or not, that remains to be seen. Guys, we were number one in the community all night. We got 2,300 people live watching on Off the Script right now. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support, man. I really appreciate you guys. You killed it. I felt really good for this review tonight. I came in prepared. I attacked. I knew what I wanted to talk about. I was caffeinated up. Usually means grade A JD, man. Thank you guys so very much for all of your support. If you came for the review, I appreciate you. If you came for the review, thank you. But we're going to go over the super chats right now and then get the hell on out of here. If you want to hang out, I'd love to have you. Stick around. Super chats are open. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Hit that thumbs up, man. We got 1,100 likes. Thank you guys so very much for the 1,000 goal reached. I'll see you guys for Monday Night Raw as always. Live right here on the channel. Let's go over these super chats, man. Matt, 87 Eagle, with a $4.99 super chat. Here's an obvious logic gap. Even if the cash-in would have failed, you had two world champions beat the crap out of each other, and no Miz in sight. Michael Cole actually made mention of Miz kind of hanging around and creeping in the shadows, which, if I'm a commentator, I'm probably going to mention that as well. But the fact that we didn't see him, it does make Miz look like a fucking idiot, to be honest with you. He should have been all over that. Jacob Donnelly with a $10 super chat. What is up, brother? Don't know how to rate this show, to be honest. Drew McIntyre vs. Roman Reigns was excellent, but the Survivor Series team matches were completely meaningless, and the Undertaker ending just didn't sit right with me. It felt rushed. It really did. I mean, not rushed per se, but it was in and out. He didn't really say anything of meaning. Like, what was truly, and I mean this really, what was the difference between that Undertaker farewell and the last 6 that we've seen? What was the difference between what the Undertaker said there compared to everything else that he said? Nothing. It really didn't sit well with me at all either. Bradley Robinette with a $2 super chat. Vince did not look well at all. Retire, old man. Get out of here. Get him out of here. Deshaun Turner, $4.99. Seth lost early because he didn't want to be in the ring with Matt, in my opinion. You, sir, along with everybody else that said that, is correct. Joker in the Bronx. $5 super chat. First show I watched in months. It was good, but Roman is great as heel. Brother, he is fucking awesome. He's finally come into his own, man. 6 years of ranting is finally making me, at least in regards to Roman, happy. Brass Man, $4.99. Good evening, JD. Just wanted to say that I was too frustrated with WWE's women's division on the Survivor Series, except for Sasha versus Asuka. That was my favorite. Bro, the women's division sucks. I was thinking about this during the show. If you merge the women's division, it's great. Individually, the way they sit on Raw and SmackDown, they're fucking both terrible. They really are. Merge. The greater good is the division as a whole. Mario Mania, Canadian $5 super chat. Any chance for another JD reads hateful comments from YouTube? Thank you for the amazing entertainment you provide us. Lots of love always. Never stop. I'd love to, man, but the thing is with those, YouTube is very sensitive nowadays, man. You can't say what I used to say back on the platform when I was doing those videos. So, probably not. Probably not. Bradley Xavier with a $2 Australian. Christian Miracle says, you disrespected Undertaker. Well, fuck Christian Miracle. Guy's a fucking loser. And you can deliver that personally to him. I'm not that difficult to find. There's a reason why we're number one here every single week. And it's not because I'm a fucking pussy. Hi, Tari, 2600, $5 super chat. Hey, JD, keep up the great By the way, how does he know I disrespected The Undertaker? I didn't say anything about the fucking Undertaker on Twitter. He must be watching the fucking show. Good. Another fucking geek in the community who knows where to turn when he wants the right fucking view on the product. Anything but a miracle is Christian Miracle. Hi, Tari, 2600, $5 super chat. Hey, JD, keep up the great content. No geeks allowed. Bow down to the tribal chief of the IWC. Damn right, motherfucker. Thank you, man. Gregory Benson with a $50 bomb. I'm 35 years old, and I've been a pro wrestling fan over 20 years. And I gotta admit, seeing Taker pay tribute to Paul Bearer the way he did gave me goosebumps to the point I almost choked up, and that's a rarity coming from me. Brother, you're not alone. You're not alone, man. I'm sitting on the couch, and I wanted to tear up, but I had to hold my composure. I loved Paul Bearer and The Undertaker, man. My favorite act of all time. Thank you so much, brother. And you weren't even done. You got another $4.99 super chat. And, of course, you know Mr. Bearer was looking down from above. Of course, Percy Pringle was looking down from above, man. Always. Always. Thank you for the $55 bomb, brother. Appreciate you. Dan Trower, 2507, with a $10 UK. Hey, JD, do you think this so-called pay-per-view was just to see how much money Vinnie Mac could get from the networks? And I think the send-off for Taker was great visually. Do you think next year NXT will be involved? NXT should not be involved in the Survivor Series, and the only reason why they were involved last year was because they wanted to get the one-up on AEW. They thought they were slick. It backfired on them because NXT did not benefit from that inclusion at all, and WWE embarrassed NXT. That's all they did. They could include NXT if they want. There's a way to do it. The way to do that, the way to include NXT correctly in the Survivor Series would be Raw and SmackDown versus NXT. That's the way you do it. But then, if you do that, then you're going to keep more guys off the pay-per-view because then it's going to lessen the amount of Raw and SmackDown superstars that actually make it to the show. So they got to be careful with that. But that's the only way it would work, and I don't see them doing that. Francis Loop with a $5 super chat. I think Vince put Drew McIntyre in the match so Randy can be protected. I just said that. Randy will win the WWE title back at TLC. You're the best in the IWC. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate you. Kenley Pierre with a $5 super chat. Who is the best babyface right now in wrestling? And who is The Undertaker's better feud? Edge 2007-8 or Randy Orton 2005? What do you think of Jay Lethal? Jay Lethal is excellent. Very underrated. He should have been WWE bound, but I don't know what happened there. The better feud is with Orton. 2005. I loved Randy Orton being in that feud and having his father right there with him. I thought it was great. Quintendo with a $3 super chat. Hey, JD, awesome review, bro. It's been a while. Quintendo, thank you, brother. Hopefully you're well, man. Stay safe. Joseph King, $5 super chat. What is your favorite Owen Hart memory in WWE? Owen winning the King of the Ring and then beating Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10. Nothing comes close with Owen Hart. One of the best matches of all time in any promotion on any planet. Owen Hart versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 10 inside Madison Square Garden. Self-made in the chat. You're a fucking idiot. Roman match was trash. Get the fuck out of my chat, which Hoop Media did, and rightfully so. Hoop Media, I will not even ban them for 300 seconds. Get them the fuck out of the chat. Joseph King, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. Shug! What is going on, my brother? $4.99. Sorry, Hoop Media. You know I like to yell. I'm not yelling at you, Hoop Media. I'm not yelling at you, Hoop Media. I'm yelling at Self-Made. You're a fucking clown. Love you, Hoop Media. You do a fantastic job. Shug, it's good to see you in good health, and OTS is still going strong. Bro, we're going to be here forever. I missed Survivor Series, but I knew I could make up for it by tuning into the channel. I got you covered, bro. Hopefully you're well. Christopher Elliott, $2 super chat. Got teary-eyed seeing that 3D image of Paul Bearer. You and everybody else, brother. You and everybody else, man. Phil, $9.99 super chat. So I thought there was a chance that this farewell wasn't a farewell at all, and it would lead to Taker's feud for WrestleMania, but there was no interruption. Is this the true end of The Undertaker's career? It certainly looks like it, man. I don't know. We got December, January, and February. We got 3.5 months till WrestleMania, bro. 4 months till WrestleMania. Something will happen. I feel it in my bones. Something will happen between now and WrestleMania season for The Undertaker. He will be wrestling at WrestleMania. Saeed, $5 Canadian. Awesome review. Thank you for almost 5 hours of greatness today, JD. Watching OTS always brings a smile to my face and joy to life during these times. Thank you, Saeed. That's very kind of you to say, brother. Appreciate you. Justin Striplin with a $4.99 super chat. What do you think about Kenny Omega saying he would be interested in an AEW WWE partnership? Kenny's just being a kind soul. That will never happen. Are you kidding me? Anything to enhance AEW's name on WWE's behalf? Bro, Kenny must be on drugs. And I know Kenny is clean as a fucking whistle. Jericho 8131, $10 super chat. The tribute to Taker's 30th anniversary was nothing but a cash grab off of Taker's name. Of course it was. Just like they did the Shield when Dean Ambrose was leaving. The bit with Paul Bearer was great, but I feel Taker's genuine farewell won't happen until there's a live crowd. Of course. Whoever thought that this was Taker's last ride in WWE might be dumb as a box of rocks. This did not feel like a farewell at all. It felt like nothing more than a fucking cash grab. And that's well beneath The Undertaker, man. Quite disrespectful. Edgar, you fucking beast with a $20 bomb. Hey again, bro. Spoke truth about Lana. Roman is doing great so far, but how long will this heel turn last? Undertaker paying tribute to Paul Bearer is amazing. Thanks for a great review. Love you, JD. Love you, Edgar. Lana sucks. And Roman's heel run is going to last as long as it needs to. He is born for this role. He plays it perfect. I asked for it for 6 years, and he's doing great. Makes me look like a fucking genius. Dan Trower with another $5 UK. Hey, JD, thank you for all that you do sticking up for us in the IWC and saying how it is. Would love to set up an interview with you. I appreciate your donation, brother, but I don't really do interviews. I'm not good at them. I'm not a people person. Believe it or not. And JD23 with a $2 super chat. Bianca's a beast. She should have been sole survivor. Don't worry, she is a sole survivor in the hearts of many. WWE fucked Bianca Belair up tonight. at the cost of Lana. So go fuck yourself, WWE. Guys, we've been here for 2 hours and 10 minutes. That makes almost 5 hours of live content tonight on the channel. Who else works this hard in the community? Nobody. I thank you for being here and making me number one all night. There's a reason why we're the most watched podcast in the IWC. It's because we do it the best, man. Survivor Series was the best of the best. Motherfucker, you're watching the best of the best. If you're on iTunes, leave me a 5-star rating, man. I appreciate it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you like about the show, what you want to see added to the show. Sound off in the comments below. Check out Dr. Squatch, man. DrSquatch.com. Use code SCRIPT at checkout, man. Get yourself some great gifts for the holiday season. Soaps, colognes, toothpaste, shampoo and conditioner, man. They got it all to make you feel and look your best. Again, guys, thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up. Thank you for all the super chats. But I'm taking my cold beverage, man. The Mustang is parked right outside my window. I see it right there. Beautiful. I'm getting in it. Turn the music up to full blast. I want to see those guitar emojis in the chat as the pilot guitar solo starts blaring on your stereos. Until Monday Night Raw, guys, I will see you all right back here on Off the Script tomorrow night. See you guys then.